Whoa. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for coming back. I know that two of you viewed my previous video, so thank you. I saw that I had 2 views. I was like, yay, that's exciting. So we are currently in the Azores, and today I was going to talk about our experience from flying from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania over to Boston and then to the Azores with our dog, our Maltipoo rescue that we rescued around 7-8 years ago. So we have some catching up to do. Let's start with our Uber ride to the airport. Toby did wonderful. I put him right into his carrier, put him in the Uber with me, covered him with a blanket because I wasn't sure how he would do. It's been a while since he's had to be in a carrier, and he's a little sensitive to being in anything like a cage. So we did that, and it was about a 45-minute drive to get to the airport. Once we got there, it was a little chaos with our luggage. We have 2 big checked bags and 3 backpacks. And we ended up talking to the lady at the desk, and she let us check. I have this large black backpack, and she let us check that, which I was able to shove like a lot of his food and stuff in because it was really, really heavy. I think it was like 23 pounds. I mean, we brought a lot of food just because I wasn't sure what they would have in Portugal. I know that they have dogs here, but you know how dogs are really sensitive and stuff. So their bellies. So I wanted to be mindful. The security was pretty flawless. I was actually really impressed with how fast we got through security in Pittsburgh. And the only problem that we really had was my husband put my birth year as 1992. He's very sweet, and not 1985. So we had to go the whole way back to the check-in desk, get that sorted, and then we were able to go through security. And I just carried him through, and they took all our luggage. We didn't even have to take our shoes off, which I found amazing because I feel like every time we've ever traveled, we always have to take off our shoes. It's like a whole thing, and it made it so much smoother to get through the security line, which I think they have been doing at some places and not others. I don't know. So interesting little tidbit. The flight was really easy. I put Toby in his carrier, and from the flight from Pittsburgh to Boston, he was in his carrier. I put him in the seat, like under the seat in front of us. And then during takeoff, I did put him on my lap under a blanket. And then he was nice and cozy under there because he was scratching. He just gets really anxious being away from us. And even though he could see us, like he was super anxious. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to put him on my lap, which was totally fine for the whole entire flight. Then we got to Boston, landed, and we had like a weird situation where we could not find a straight flight to the Azores. So we had to fly to Boston, book a separate flight out of Boston. And we booked it to be 7 hours after we landed. So there was a delay out of Pittsburgh by like 45 minutes, which was totally fine because we had 7 hours to kill. So we're like, that's totally like cool, right? So then we land in Boston, and Toby did great. Put him on his leash, let him kind of roam around the airport. He did do his business, so we quickly cleaned it up, which was super easy. And little tidbit, little tip, I brought Lysol wipes with me, like the little carry-on pack. And so anytime he pooed in the airport, I would just clean it up, and then with the doggy poop bag, and then clean it up with Lysol wipes, and it was totally fine. And then go wash your hands. Like always wash your hands. Don't forget to wash your hands. Okay, so we landed in Boston. We had a 7-hour layover, which ended up being 6.5 hours because of our whole dilemma and late, because we took off late from Pittsburgh. So it ended up being 6.5 hours. Once we got to Boston, we found out that we couldn't go to the check-in counter until 5:30, and we landed at like 2:30 or 3. So we had some time to kind of venture, and that was nice. We found a little table in this little area of the airport, and LED colored. Colin worked for a little bit, and I had some stuff that I had to do. So it was really nice. And then around 5:30, we go to the check-in desk, get all checked in, go through security again, pretty flawless. Took him out of his carrier, walked through with him. It was so easy. Get into the airport, walked around for him, and then we snuck him into a lounge because my husband has a card where we can get into some of the lounges. He has a credit card that we'll use. And so the lady kind of hesitated to let us in because they were fully booked. And they didn't really have a lot of space, but she let us in anyways. I just hid him in his carrier, and I just threw my sweatshirt over top of it like a gym bag. And we took him in. I just kept him in his carrier the whole time. And then he hates wheels. Like this dog, there's something that happened in his past life. He doesn't like strollers. He doesn't like bikes. He doesn't like wheelchairs. And he also doesn't like luggage on wheels. And so these people drove past, like these people pulled their luggage next to where his carrier was, and he started barking. And then the manager that kind of let us in, like walked around and like looked to see like where's this dog, and we were like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get caught. And then the ladies that were sitting next to us were laughing so hard. They were this really sweet, bunch of ladies, and they were like, oh, he's so cute, except for that bark that he did. He almost gave himself up. And I was like, yeah, he almost did. Okay, so yeah, the airport, after we left the lounge, it went by pretty quickly. We were all really, really tired. At this point, we had been up since about 5, 6 a.m., like last minute panic packing. And then we get on the flight around 9:45, and it was a 5-hour flight. So we all passed out. Same thing, took him out of the carrier, put him on my lap, put a blanket over him, and nobody seemed to care. I put him back in his carrier under the seat in front of us when we landed. And then we got off the plane. He, did his business again, because that's what dogs do. Thank God for the Lysol wipes. Yeah, we cleaned it up and then went down, got our luggage, and went and got the rental car. And it was really a good experience. I was so scared up until this point. I just thought, what are we gonna do? Like, this is a long flight. Even though we have flown from California to Pennsylvania, it was very different flying from Pennsylvania to Boston, and then Boston, we had to go to the Azores. And as soon as we landed in the Azores, they asked for all of his paperwork. Like, you get through customs and everything, and then this vet comes up to you and she's like, okay, I need to see your paperwork for him. Like, they were like ready for us, or they knew that we were going to be there. So there was a thing with his microchip where he had 2 microchips. So one of the numbers was off, and that ended up being kind of a thing and delayed us about an hour. Once we got that sorted, we went and got a rental car, and my husband practiced driving manual. So that was really fun getting out of the parking lot. It took us a little longer than we were expecting, but we got some really good belly laughs, and we love our place here that we're staying in. I'll do a house tour. Yeah, and that was getting Toby into the Azores. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. But thank you so much for watching. I'm sure 2 or 3 of you will watch this video, and I really appreciate it and the support. And yeah, until next time.